John Mara, president or owner of the Giants, also in the competition committee, he was asked about why the point of emphasis on taunting was kind of brought to the forefront this season. This was John Mara's answer. Remember, this is a mouthpiece for people that are shaping the game going forward.
The taunting emphasis, what were the conversations about that among you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we discuss every year in the competition committee. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting that does go on from time to time on the field. We've tried to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun, and there's always a fine line there, but none of us like to see that, and it's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced and without taking the fun out of the game too. But nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know I certainly don't, and I think the rest of the members of the competition committee feel the same way too.
Okay, so this guy stinks. Right? This is a guy that none of us would be friends with. And he wouldn't be friends with us as well. But you have to think about John Mara whenever you listen to somebody speak like that. We're sick and tired of the talking. Like, okay, John, all right, I'm happy to hear that you're sick and tired of people who are working their asses off, getting paid well while making you billions of dollars. You're sick and tired of them talking or expressing themselves as the humans they are, John. We get in your early statements there, you're saying, hey, just fucking play football and get back in the huddle. We get it, John, okay? We get that's what you want. And I think what John was trying to say, and I think what the people on the internet who have been supporting the NFL in this egregious decision have been saying, well, they're talking about celebrating and they're talking about taunting. Taunting is when you're mean, Ian Rappaport said, and that's why. And taunting is when you're in somebody's face and everything like that. Then we saw the rule get instituted this past weekend, and everything we thought it was going to be, which is a ref's judgment on whether or not it is taunting. A kid, Ben LeMay from the University of Charlotte, playing against the Carolina Panthers on the Indianapolis Colts team. He's a running back. That running back room is very deep, going to be very difficult to make the team there. He busts open a run, carries 8 motherfuckers in Carolina Panthers uniforms down the field, potentially changes his life completely, which is what the NFL should be proud of and happy of, by the way. We're a league that has changed lives forever. He gets up, quick flex, excitement, and you see that ref come flying. You can't do that. And that's what it's going to become with the points of emphasis. So everybody's trying to separate taunting with celebrating. Well, I'll tell you what, unless you're hearing what the person is saying completely, do you really know if it's a taunt or a celebrate? And if somebody's being ill-spirited or spiking a ball in somebody's head or being obnoxious or ridiculous or egregious, I can understand that not being good for the game. But this bullshit of we're tired of them talking and we want them to do this without taking the fun. Well, you took the fun out of it when you made it a point of emphasis. And John Mara, listen, I don't want to hate you, okay? I never met you.
Sure.
I like people that have a lot of money and have success and do stuff. I think it's inspiring. I mean, my natural instinct growing up where I grew up is to hate everybody that has money. Natural. My family hates people that have had money. It's kind of what I grew up on. Okay, those people up there, selfish, greedy pricks, play the game system. This is how this whole thing goes. But I have the utmost respect, especially as I sit in a villa in the middle of the desert, for people that grind their ass off and make it to the top and change the world. We'll forever need those people. But John Mara is not one of those guys. Let's make sure that is understood. He is, what was it, Ty? 3rd generation cashola?
That's right.
This guy was handed an NFL fucking team. He's never had to compete for anything. He has no idea what it's like to potentially go back to the streets or make it in the NFL. And he's the one saying, we're sick and tired of this. Well, John, I'm sick and tired of people like you having no idea what life is like outside of your bubble. You are one of the luckiest people in the history of our Earth's existence. You were handed an NFL team, the greatest league on earth. Getting a team in the NFL is what guys like me are working our asses off in one day of hoping to get Gary Vee. Look at Portnoy. Look at everybody in the sports world that wasn't just handed an entire wealth. We're all working our asses off in hopes of one day getting an NFL team. You were handed an NFL team. Why don't you acknowledge that, appreciate that, realize that, and say, hey, let's make our league the best it can possibly be. Let's go ahead and enjoy what our game offers, which is incredible emotion, storybook endings, everything it be, as opposed to, yeah, I'm sick and tired of hearing them talk. I'm fucking sick and tired of hearing you talk, John Mara. That's how I feel. Ty, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's asinine, and it's funny that you mentioned the talking thing, because I'm sure we'll talk about Hard Knocks later, but like that's a perfect example of that. Is like you get these joint practices, and you got two guys who are talking shit to each other, but like it's jovial, there's no harm in it, and is that the kind of stuff that's going to get called this year? Like it just, where do you draw the line?
And I don't want to, like, John Mara could be a good guy, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, he's probably a sack of shit, but yeah, he could be a good guy.
He could be a good guy. And my judgment of him never having to compete for anything in his life might be wrong. Like maybe he didn't take the water polo photo and get into whatever school he got into. Like that admissions scandal thing is pretty damning for that high society community on whether or not their resume is actual, Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to be like, oh, okay, that's real. But let's assume he has earned everything. Yeah, he got that counsel job, special counsel, right out of college by his dad, and then became president and everything. So let's just assume that he's very, very hardworking, and he has to be to have his job, whatever, all that shit. Why is this what you want to take a stand on in 2021 after everything that just happened? Why would this be? You got to be a dumbass if that's the case. Like, you got to be. And the other members of the competition committee, we have a lot of respect for. Connor, who else is on the competition committee?
Mike Tomlin, here it is. Mike Tomlin, Peyton, Elway, Rivera. I mean, guys that we actually genuinely enjoy.
We have a lot of respect for Ozzie Newsome, became one of the greatest drafters in the history after playing. Like, I have a lot of respect for a lot of these people on here. Mark Murphy, I mean, he was handed a team as well, I guess. But there's a couple people on here. Stephen Jones, now he's also going to be handed a team, right, from his dad making a great decision. We can't hold that against Stephen Jones, right, until there are things that happen. We go, okay, we hate Stephen Jones. Like, I think there's a way where you can grow up in a successful family and still have Arthur Smith. Incredible example.
Yep.
Arthur Smith, head coach of the Falcons. That guy's dad, owner, founder of FedEx, right? He could have had. There's a lot of people that are like that. So I don't want us to necessarily just judge Stephen Jones because he's in the exact position that Mara is in. Okay, Stephen Jones has acted differently, though. I don't know if Jerry has. Mara, though, sounds like an absolute buffoon when he's speaking. If any of these other competition committee guys would have came out and said that, I think our reaction's much differently. I think we kind of go out and say, like, hey, Tomlin, who played safety, William and Mary, got his first coaching job underneath Bill Stewart, rest in peace, has had to grind his way through everything. He was a surprise hire from the Steelers. Nobody expected him to get his job, has had nothing but success. If Tomlin came out and said, well, obviously we are at the egregious stage, or whatever the fuck he was going to say, like, I think it would be much different. This guy just has the most punchable face and resume in the history. So whenever he sounds like he's anti-fun, which is what this rule is, whether that's what they want it to be or not, it is what it's being called already as. It was just a poor decision by all parties, I think, Ty.
Well, yeah, and you look at just like how low the self-awareness is. I mean, like, I don't know if he thought, I don't know what kind of reaction he assumed people were going to get, but like if he didn't know that the onslaught that came after it was going to come, like, then you got an even bigger issue.
Connor, I hate this, dude.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense, especially with a guy like, hey, Sean Payton was basically paying players to murder quarterbacks, and here we are now, and he's saying, hey, you can't even celebrate after you get a first down. Like, there's got to be some sort of, okay, you can't throw the ball after a first down at a guy or something, but you should be able to show some emotion, maybe talk a little shit, and then keep it moving. Like, it has to either be way over the top celebration, and that can be a penalty, but it can't be this small little shit that's like, all right, 15 yards, the whole play's ruined, your drive's ruined, punt the ball basically on second down because you're screwed.